Arguably, the biggest rivalry in English football is set to take centre stage this weekend as Manchester United face Liverpool in the Premier League. Shaka Hislop is here with me. We're going to see which teams we think come out on top in these categories. Shaka, let's start off with the manager.
This might surprise a few. I'm actually going to go with Jose Mourinho, who you know I've been very critical of adjusting in terms of setting a team up for a result. Mourinho just edges Klopp.
It won't be pretty, but he'll get the result. Well, this might surprise you as well. I'm going with Jurgen Klopp. Now, we know that Jurgen Klopp is one for the football romantics, and that's me. So I'm going to go with him because he just seems like one of the team. Like, the team is playing for him. Jose, not so much. And we know it isn't pretty football. He does know how to get a result, but I'm going to go with Klopp on this one, the rock star. Goalkeeper.
No surprise here. Let's be honest. You could have Karius and Mignolet in goal at the same time, and I'd still choose De Gea.
No arguments there, Shaka. David De Gea, possibly the only constant in Manchester United's team. Best player when he walks out there and best player when he walks off. Defense now.
Again, I might surprise a few. I'm going to go with Liverpool. I don't think there's a whole lot between the two. Hold on, let me explain. Since his turn of the year, Manchester United have been marginally better in terms of goals conceded. Since Van Dijk made his debut, Liverpool have been marginally better. There's not a lot to get between the two defenses, and I think that is easily explained by De Gea. So I think Liverpool as a defense, as a unit, not including the goalkeeper, gets a nod.
See, I agree with you. It was definitely hard to pick this one, but I'm going to go with Manchester United on this one, Shaka. Liverpool conceded 10 more than United this season, Shaka. That has to factor for something. I know what you're saying.
That's over the course of the season.
Over the course of the season.
Over the last 20 games, Liverpool have conceded less in the league.
But I still pick Jose Mourinho to choose a backline better than Jurgen Klopp will.
Right now, Liverpool's defense is better.
All right, well, agree to disagree, Shaka. What about midfield?
Midfield. I think United have a better midfield than Liverpool. I will say they aren't playing anywhere near as good as they should be, but I still will choose United's midfield over Liverpool.
See, I agree with you there, but you know what? I'm going with Liverpool because I feel like in United's midfield, they should be playing better than they are right now. I feel like there's no real world-class name, save for a Paul Pogba, but we have been discussing this, whether it's his attitude that's not bringing out the best of him. Is it Jose not bringing out the best of him, or is he just being played out of position? So for that, I feel like Liverpool are more of a better unit there. Together.
Here's the thing,
Together.
though. Here's the thing. Liverpool's midfield...
I remember asking for an argument.
Liverpool's midfield don't have to be as good because of Liverpool's attack.
Okay.
Liverpool's attack have been so good that their midfield can be...
slack off a little.
Yeah, they could have an off day and nobody will notice. Which is why I go for United in midfield. No question, Liverpool in attack, though.
You want to guess who I chose for attack?
I
cannot be that blind. Liverpool going forward.
I was a little bit concerned.
The dream. I mean, everyone's scoring really and truly for Liverpool, whether they should be out-and-out strikers or not, and I have to go with Liverpool for that one. All right,
so where midfield?
We disagree on a lot.
Defense and manager.
We can only agree on David De Gea.
And the attack.
And the attack, because we're not that blind. Great minds sometimes think alike. Thanks so much to Shaka Hislop. We'll see which of the two teams comes out on top this Saturday. Some more Premier League predictor, and you know it's a competition when Shaka Hislop is here because he's a feisty little competitor. Shaka, let's start things off with this first juicy fixture. We really should save this for last, but it's the first game to kick off the weekend. Man United, Liverpool.
Okay, let's get my shocks out of the way. I'm going to go for Manchester United.
I don't think that's a massive shock.
It's a shock that I'm picking Manchester United. I think Jose Mourinho is going to set up pragmatically as he always does and then grab a late winner. Yeah.
You know what? For that reason, I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I'm going to go with Manchester United on this one. Ooh, if only Liverpool come back to haunt our decision. Everton, Brighton.
Yes, Sam Allardyce under a lot of pressure up at Goodison Park.
Brighton with big results.
Brighton doing really well, but still, I just think Sam gets the better of Brighton at home.
I want to say that as well, but you know what? I'm going to go for a draw on this one.
All right.
I'm going to sit on the fence. I know you love that fence. Huddersfield, Swansea.
A much improved Swansea, I have to say. Huddersfield, desperate for a result. I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. I'm going to say it's a draw. I just don't see Swansea losing.
I don't see Swansea losing, but I do see them winning in this
Okay.
one. Or maybe I'd like to see them win in this one. So I'm going to go with the Swans for this. Newcastle, Southampton, Shaka Hislop, of course.
Don't let me
Right.
down. Right.
It's more like a wishing, hoping, praying kind of
No,
thing.
no. Newcastle are going to win.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are
Yeah,
going to
see?
pull this one off again. Sorry, Southampton. We know the troubles there. West Brom, Leicester City. Oh, yes, West Brom. Toiling and struggling. Leicester definitely should
Just
be
can't get a result.
too much for
Any
them.
kind
They
of a
can't get
result.
And they really need a result, don't they? Here we go again with one of your other former clubs that this is probably a wishing, hoping, praying kind of result you're hoping for. West Ham against Burnley.
Yeah, this one. is a wishing, hoping. Listen, I love what Dyche is doing up at Burnley. This is not going to be easy. But yes, I am wishing, hoping, praying with West Ham.
No wishing, hoping, praying here, Shaka. We're going to go with Burnley for this one.
We need all the wishes, hopes, and
I
prayers
gave
we
you
can get.
Newcastle. Choose your teams. How many teams do you have?
2.
Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Chelsea needing something too.
Yeah, Chelsea needing a whole lot.
Yeah.
And Crystal Palace, good performance against Manchester United.
Ended in heartbreak though.
It did, but still, a lot to be proud of, but still, at Stamford Bridge, surely Chelsea. Come on.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions surrounding Chelsea, but I'm assuming that they can definitely take care of Palace at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal, Watford. Speaking of needing something, or a whole lot of something.
I'm going to sit on the fence, you know.
Whoa, Shaka.
I'm going to go for a draw here. Yeah, I am.
Oh, I don't know what that would spell for Arsene Wenger. And I love me some Wenger, so I'm going to go for a result
Nothing's going to change.
for Arsenal. Nothing is going to
doesn't
change.
matter
is there?
what happens to Arsenal between now and the end of the season. He's going to be there till the summer, at the very least.
He is invincible, that man. Bournemouth, Spurs.
I expect a little bit of a
Battle.
hangover for Spurs
Ooh.
after going out. I am going to go for Bournemouth.
Shaka Hislop.
Yep.
Heartbreak at Wembley for Spurs, so I'm going to go with the fact that they're away from home this weekend, and I think they should be able to get it together. I mean, now that some pressure is off, but they're still crying, might still be hungover, but I'm going to go with Spurs.
And you never bet against City.
Oh, really?
Never.
Maybe I should go for the upside.
What?
Nah, Shaka, I can't be.
You have to think long
I
and
can't
hard
be
about
that daft. I don't.
you
Hard to
can't.
choose against Manchester
You can't
City
be that
these
daft.
days in any competition. Thanks so much to Shaka Hislop. Track everything from the Premier League action this weekend here at ESPNFC.com.
If you want entertainment, if you want goals, you don't need to go further than Anfield for the front three of Salah, Mane and Firmino. But you're glad you're not trying to face them as a goalkeeper because there's something special, aren't
Yeah, thankfully I didn't have to face too many front threes and certainly none of this quality. But you kind of saw this in the making with Liverpool. You know what Jurgen Klopp is about. You saw that at Dortmund. And it took him a bit of time to get it right at Liverpool, but I think he's done so. There were question marks at the start of the season whether Mo Salah would fit in, whether he would feature alongside Mane, Firmino and Coutinho. But he's been outstanding, and I think one of the things you maybe still don't appreciate about Mo Salah is his work rate off the ball. As good as his goals have been, as good as he's been to watch, how he's able to drop deep, how he's able to complement Sadio Mane in that respect, in launching the counter-attacks that have seen this Liverpool front three be as fearsome as any in European football.
When you played, you faced a lot of good striking duos. You played with a lot of good striking duos as well. But I want to take a look at front threes in European football right now, because the three that we mentioned, Salah, Firmino and Mane, they lead the way with 53. However, I'm giving you a blank checkbook, which a Scotsman very rarely does to anybody, okay? And I'm saying to you, you can have one of those five trios. What one are you taking?
Well, quite simply, if I had to have one of those five trios to play right now in a game this weekend, I would go with the ones that are highlighted, Messi, Suarez and Coutinho. And I think you cannot discount how good Lionel Messi is and how much he brings to the table. Alongside the likes of Suarez, who I think is just finding his feet this season, Coutinho is finding his own strides in this Barcelona lineup. And I think it's frightening to think as to how good they can be. What you have seen from this Barcelona team, and maybe, again, you don't appreciate the role that the front three plays in that, is how much more balanced Barcelona are than they were last season. You lose Neymar and you thought, oh no, there goes the future of Barcelona, there goes a big part of what made them successful over recent years. And now all of a sudden, statistically speaking, Barcelona are far better than they were 12 months ago on both sides of the ball. I think that goes down again to the players that they have, but most importantly for me, how good Messi has been in handling that transition.
By the way, I'm happy to take silver medal and take Salah, Firmino and Mane off your hands. You can have yours, and I'd be happy with that as well. Just finally, I want to touch on two of the other trios that we mentioned. One includes Ronaldo and one includes Neymar. Now, in midweek, there were no completed passes between Ronaldo and Benzema. In midweek, there were no completed passes between Neymar and Cavani. They're wonderful talents, but are they too individualistic for you?
It's different ends of the spectrum for those two, well, those duos in their front threes. You've seen the success of Ronaldo and Benzema combinations. I think that is coming to an end.
He's not scoring much this
No,
season.
he's not. Listen, it happens to every single player. It comes to, and so no disrespect to either of those two, but I think they're on the wrong ends of their respective careers, and as a result, their partnerships or certainly the statistics are waning. The other, you expected more from Cavani and Neymar. Cavani, who played second fiddle so long to Ibrahimovic, who looked so good last season, and then Neymar coming in, but you can see the disconnect. And I think those problems are deeper than just on the park. That is a bigger concern for me.
So Xhaka's got Messi, Suarez and Coutinho as his best three. I'd take that as well, but I'm not allowed to because he's got it. So I'm having Salah, I'm having Firmino, and I'm having Mane. Who have you got?
Another edition of Transfer Rated with Shaka Hislop. Join me to tell me which ones he thinks could be hits and which ones are just misses. Shaka, let's start off with an interesting one. Ivan Rakitic to stay at Barcelona, would that be a hit or miss? Because he's been linked with a move to Liverpool in the Premier League.
Well, you can understand Rakitic being linked with any number of clubs, and with Barcelona continuing to spend money on midfielders, maybe somebody thinks that there's an opportunity there for Rakitic. I don't see him leaving. I think he's that important to Barcelona. I think he's that happy. It doesn't make sense for him to leave.
Thomas Lemar, we were just speaking about Liverpool. Would he make a good reinforcement for Klopp?
Well, both Liverpool and Arsenal were interested. Last summer, by all accounts, Monaco quoted somewhere in the region of 80 million. It's not been that good a season for Lemar. I expect that price to come down extensively. Price aside, let's assume the price makes sense. I put that down as a hit. I think it goes a long way in terms of reinforcing what Liverpool have, gives them another option, particularly on that left-hand side.
Now, we love some goalkeeper talk with you in the house, Shaka. Iker Casillas, interesting. Would it be a hit or a miss if he goes to your former club, Newcastle?
Well, let me just say, I love Iker Casillas almost as much as I love Gigi Buffon. Ooh. But he's not been the keeper that I fell in love with all those years ago. And I don't see him as being a solution to Newcastle's needs in between the sticks.
Anthony Martial, constantly linked with a move away from Manchester United because of playing time. We'll see. Would Juventus be a hit or a miss?
I think that would be an absolute hit. Now, you just have to look at what Juventus have done with midfielders like Khedira, who couldn't get into the Real Madrid side, Cuadrado, who couldn't get into Chelsea's team, and how well they've been for Juventus over the last few seasons. I think they take a talent like Martial and get the best out of him. I think Manchester United could rue Martial leaving Old Trafford. If this does happen, it's a hit.
What about Liverpool? Would they rue this loss of Simon Mignolet to Napoli?
But this one, again, I don't understand. I don't see this one as working out for Napoli. I think Mignolet probably trying to figure out an exit. Maybe this is his agent's work, but it doesn't make sense.
For Napoli's point of view.
Has been fantastic, and I understand he may be coming to the end of his time, but I just don't see that as being the likely replacement.
All right, thanks so much to Shaka Hislop. Continue tracking all of these rumors to see if they do happen or not here at ESPNFC.com.
Mourinho was not happy in today's press conference about those reports, saying a big lie, that our relation is not good, that we don't communicate, that we don't agree with his position and his involvement in the dynamic of the team. So be objective and say what we all know. In the last couple of matches, he didn't play well, period. End of story. Now it's my problem and Paul's to improve his performance level. You don't need to be a liar. Jose Mourinho then pulling no punches in response to journalists and their reports. Let's welcome in Gab Marcotti to the show. Gab, who's right on this?
So first of all, Mourinho's right. He's played very poorly. Pogba has in the last couple of matches. There were essentially two reports suggesting tension there. One was from a French newspaper, L'Equipe, suggesting that Pogba may be regretting returning to United. I don't know. Maybe they have their own sources. I certainly wasn't able to confirm that. The other one is from a source that historically has been pretty close to Jose Mourinho and his camp. So it seems slightly counterintuitive to me. What was interesting as well, though, in that interview, a lot of people have been chastising United, suggesting that Pogba really struggles playing in a 2 in front of the back 4. And Mourinho went out of his way to say that you guys are all silly, watch the match. It wasn't a 2 in front of the back 4. It wasn't Pogba and Matic in front of the back 4. It was actually a 3-man midfield, and it was Pogba left of the 3 and Lingard right of the 3. I thought that was interesting because effectively he's saying this is Pogba's position, and this is where a lot of people have said he should be playing.
Craig, you were quite scathing of Pogba on Monday's show, talking about the fact that he's come here and it's almost like we should be bowing at his feet that he's in the Premier League. I don't see this ending particularly well between these two.
No, and that's why I think going back to Monday, I said on the show that I wouldn't be surprised if Mourinho was looking for an out via Ed Woodward and agents for this guy, because they could still get big money for him, really big money for him. And then they would look to replace and move on and replenish. Mourinho signed a new contract. Okay, it's not a hugely long contract, but he has signed a new contract. And clearly, if he feels he's not going to win the battle in terms of getting the guy to play well, he's going to have to get him out. But it's up to the player. If the player thinks he's made a mistake in moving to Manchester, then he better make a move quickly to get out, because he's not doing anybody any favours at the moment.
Shaq, I know you're well rested, but before I come to you on this, Gab, I just want to ask about Real Madrid and this link. Is there any possibility that he could go to Madrid in the summer?
I mean, look, Pogba remains, because of his age profile, because of his skill set. He's going to remain a massive commodity, and people all over the world are going to want him if Manchester United put him up for sale and decide they want to get rid. Real Madrid were linked with him before. Obviously, he chose United over Real Madrid. Then Real Madrid came and said, well, we didn't really want him anyway. Fair enough. But if there is a move, Real Madrid could obviously afford him. But again, I don't actually see this one ending badly. I think it's in Mourinho's interest and it's in Pogba's interest for the two of them to work together. And frankly, these stories about tension, I think what Pogba doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to get scapegoated. And I think the media in some ways maybe were doing that. Maybe Mourinho felt he was sticking up for him. I don't know. But I think these two men are intelligent enough to go and work it out between now and the summer. This is Paul Pogba you're talking about. This isn't Henrik Mkhitaryan, who cost half as much and is older and whatever else. This is Pogba. They're going to make it work, I think.
Just briefly, there's a way out of Paul Pogba getting, as Gab pointed, scapegoating. There's a way out of it getting scapegoated for him. It's pure and simple. Is produce on the field. No matter what his teammates do, no matter if Man United are successful or how successful they are, if he produces on the field, right, he can't be that scapegoat. It's impossible.
The thing for me is, I think Mourinho has constantly and consistently played Pogba out of position. Earlier in the season, he played him higher up, closer to the strikers, and he saw the best out of Paul Pogba then. I thought he was poorly utilised all of last season. And now this kind of regression and put him in front of your back 4.
But he wasn't, Shay. He's not in front of the back 4.
Listen, he's not playing anywhere near to where as advanced as he was when he played Juventus.
That's his fault.
That's his fault that he's not playing.
You played Newcastle, your old team at home, one of the worst teams in the Premier League. United have dominating possession. There's no need for Paul Pogba to sit in front of the back 4. He didn't. He just didn't. He didn't involve himself, or he didn't make a statement in the game enough.
You see Mourinho, his teams, and how he handles players. Players have a role and are expected to stick to those roles pretty strictly. You don't go making your own mind up. If Paul Pogba is playing deep, it's because Jose Mourinho told him to play deep. If you're not getting the best out of Paul Pogba, then that's on Jose Mourinho yet again. For what it's worth, I don't think Paul Pogba is going anywhere. I think he's going to be there for the long term. There's nothing about Paul Pogba that says to me that he's not up for winning back the trust of Jose Mourinho or playing his way into good form. Also, if from a Manchester United perspective, outside of David De Gea, Paul Pogba I know he's not playing like it right now, is your brightest talent. If you do want to rediscover that old form, get yourself back to where you believe you should be, you don't do that by selling the likes of Paul Pogba. There are a lot of other names that come well ahead of Paul Pogba on the list in terms of getting rid and bringing in brighter and better talent.
But if you're not playing well enough and it's affecting you and it's in the media every week because you're the big name and you're the big manager and you're the big club, then something has to be done about it. Paul Pogba's got it all. For the modern player, well over 6 foot, athletic, quick, strong, powerful, talented, clever guy, markets himself well, can do everything. It is up to him. It is up to him to prove everybody wrong that he's back in the Premier League, back at a really big club in England to make a mark. Some are saying also it's not just a Mourinho, not just a Mourinho thing, that his nose is out of joint a little bit because Alexis Sanchez has come in, lots of headlines. Oh, and by the way, huge money.
Quickly, Gab.
I just want to say about Pogba is he actually played really well until the Tottenham game, and despite having missed nearly 2 months of the season through injury and through suspension, I think he's 3rd or 4th in the Premier League in terms of assists. The only guys in front of him are De Bruyne and I think Leroy Sané. Both play for Manchester City, scored 1 million goals. He's not having a bad season, or he wasn't until that Tottenham game. We're talking really the last 2-3 weeks where he's had a dip in form.
He's got 3 goals in all competitions, Gab. I don't care how deep he's been. He's by his standards, I'm sorry, for one of the top, 5 players in the world, apparently. I think there needs to be more than that.
It's on ESPNFC.com this week about the future of Paul Pogba, probably going to be at Manchester United. But part of the article, Shaka, was talking about, could they eventually be forced to sell him? If so, is that a possible destination?
Well, if they decide to sell him, yeah, without question. I think Paul Pogba graces any team. And never mind what's happening right now between him and Jose Mourinho, I don't think he's leaving Manchester United anytime soon. But if the question is, does he go in and fit in at Real Madrid? I say yes.
Okay.
Put that down as a hit.
Now, Luke Shaw. The comments from Mourinho have been, well, they've lauded Luke Shaw. And then he doesn't play them in the next game after the press conference. Are these comments designed to get maximum value if he does move him on, maybe to Arsenal?
Without question, those comments are with a view to getting the best possible return on Luke Shaw. Saying that, I think Shaw will leave Old Trafford. I don't see him going to Arsenal.
Why would he? Monreal's playing there right now. Kolasinac can't even get a game right now. Speaking of someone who's struggling to get a game, but mainly due to injury, Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona. Arsenal?
As a sale, no. If Ousmane Dembele leaves Barcelona, I think it will be as a loan.
Okay.
Now, I understand the concern, Coutinho coming in and where does he all fit in, but Dembele's signing wasn't an afterthought to Coutinho when that deal fell through in the summer. Barcelona were pursuing both at the same time, so you figure that he features in those plans. Atletico Madrid and Griezmann also in other options in terms of whether Griezmann goes to Barcelona, does Atleti want Dembele? I think that is more likely. So again, I'm going to put this one down as a miss.
Surprised that Dele Alli's been linked with a move away from Spurs.
So am I. I think if Spurs do lose anybody valuable in the short term, it would be Harry Kane, simply because I think anybody who's interested, and there are a few, are going to put such a big offer on the table that Daniel Levy, being the businessman that he is, can't say no. As a result, I don't think Spurs will want to or need to part with Dele Alli. I'd certainly keep him if I had any say in the matter if I was sitting in the Spurs boardroom.
This is a player I love, Willian. But he's not getting enough game time right now. Could that force him out?
Without question. I mean, when you look at Willian, what he did at Shakhtar and then Angie, how good he is. He's making some muted overtures towards Spanish football. I think he moves. I'm surprised at how infrequently he has been used. He can't be happy about it either. I think he makes many a big European team better.
But your caveat to Pogba is only if he leaves Manchester
Yes,
United.
that's my
right
caveat,
now
yeah.
Isn't really looking likely.
It was a bad weekend for Manchester United. We get that. They lost against Newcastle United. That's now 2 league defeats in the last 3 games. So their entire defence is up for debate, apparently. The transfer rater, Craig, this week, all about Manchester United and the centre-half position primarily.
I thought we only had transfers in the transfer window. It's boiling over now. Now, clearly, Ross, you and I have absolutely nothing to do with compiling this list before anybody starts, right? Tweet him. Nothing to do with us. And also, you may notice there is a clear edging towards Man United, right? Because they're involved in every transfer, whether it's in or out. So clearly, whoever's put this together, multiple people, single people, have got a bit of a Man United about them. Not us. We're just going to stand here and guess. Because that's what it is. It's guesswork. Small thing to leave. I mean, he should leave alone for that dive at the weekend. We know him and Jones are not his favourites, but we also know Baye's been injured and we know Lindelof's been pretty poor. So, is he going to sell the 2 of them? Probably not. One of them might go. It's a guessing game. Listen, forget it. Why would you leave Real Madrid to go to Man United? You've seen them play. Honestly, why would you go to that team at the moment? From Real Madrid. Not happening. Harry Maguire, they're talking about him. I saw some headlines. It's the usual scenario. I don't think that's happening.
Ander Herrera to AC Milan. Less than 18 months left on his deal like these two.
Well, he's probably going to leave because they're probably going to go and try and buy in the summer again, and they've got money to spend. United always have money to spend. Their business model is very good. I'm going to say a hit. I don't know if it'll be AC Milan, but I'm going to say a hit as to probably leave, and the rest a bit of a guessing game. And just in case you wondered, there are other clubs out there apart from Man United.
But not this week.
But not this week.